How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And today we have another interview. And today we're going to interview Jack Hyde from the film Viral Haunt. So, how's it going, Jack?
Hey Mike, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Happy to have you on as always. So we're gonna kick things off. Viral Haunt. What is this film about? Because I actually have not seen it yet.
Basically, what Viral Haunt is about, it's about like this group of like YouTubers or sort of like video streamers and everything, and they sort of like go into like these haunted places, sort of like churches, abbeys, abandoned warehouses, places that are considered haunted, and to go in there and film paranormal activity and everything, to try to catch like ghost activity on camera and then
Right. Yeah.
upload it onto their YouTube channel and everything. Um, but obviously they're scrolling through like the comments and everything saying like, oh, this is fake, this is stage, but this is fake, this is stage and everything. Like, how about you guys go into, explore like a real haunted place? And then obviously um there's a couple of other comments saying like, oh, you should go film at Ripper Manor. I heard that place is haunted and everything. There's an actual like Jack the Ripper ghost is there and everything. So like
Mhm.
obviously they take on board that challenge and everything. And when they get to Ripper Manor, that's when everything kind of like goes sideways and everything. Like
Oh,
yeah, like that's when
yeah.
it starts. That's when it like starts like falling apart and everything. Like they don't know who to trust anymore. There's a kid that there is like an actual killer in the house and everything. So
Oh,
it all
wow.
sort of, like goes. It all kind of like goes off the rails basically and everything. It's quite like very quite a lot of like energy and a lot of high stakes involved in this one.
Sounds awesome. All right. So, kicking things off with the interview questions. So, what films inspired you to become an actor in the first place?
Well, so this is actually funny, but it's true. So I started acting when I was 6 years old, and
Oh, wow.
at that time I watched like a lot of like animated films and cartoon series, like like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney.
Yeah.
And for the animated films, it was like Disney, sort of like films like Aladdin and Lion King, um, The Jungle Book, which at that time, as a kid, I considered that like one of the best films ever made. A lot of
Mhm.
Pixar films like Toy Story, Monsters Inc., A Bug's Life, and DreamWorks, like Shrek and everything. So like those films kind of like really spoke to me, and like I was really fascinated with like the characters, just like the journeys that they go on, the amazing, beautiful, and in some cases quite crazy journeys that they go on and everything. And I was like really drawn to that. So not only was I just like drawn to that world of acting, but sort of like that world of filmmaking. Like not just like animated, but also like all kinds of film, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah. Um, Gotta love all of those films. Classic Disney, classic Pixar. Love those a lot.
Mm.
So what characters or actors inspired your role for Viral Haunt?
Which actors inspired me for Viral Haunt?
Yeah, like what characters in like other movies or like other actors or something like
Oh,
yeah.
right. Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's actually really interesting because so for I'd have to say like for like I mean, because that's the thing though. I do like watch like some films, to sort of like make notes of like sort of like their personality traits and try to incorporate that in some sort of sense.
Right,
And
yeah.
I feel like for Richard, because he's like so deeply passionate about the paranormal activity, like he's like so into it and everything. Um,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like I didn't watch like a specific like an actor's performance or like a film character in general, or like from a different film or something like that. It was
Mhm.
it was mostly like, sort of like watching like a couple of episodes of, you know, sort of like the TV series like Ghost Hunter, you know, and
Right.
everything,
Yeah.
like them investigating and everything, kind of like understanding the vibe, not just of Richard, but like of Viral Haunt as a whole and everything. And I would often like go on my phone, like sort of like read up research on like, you know, other abbeys, other churches and houses that are haunted and everything, pubs that are haunted as well, and which still are to this day, because I feel like that would be sort of like a layer of Richard, you know, sort of like a layer of substance to Richard and everything, because he's so drawn to that. And I guess like it did bring out like some sort of like fascination, like, oh wow, this is interesting. Oh wow, that's incredible. Like a level of fascination that I didn't know it existed, like fascination in the paranormal, and just like
Right. Yeah.
and just incorporate that, like it sort of like input that into Richard and everything. So yeah, it was kind of like sort of like figuring it out and justifying like who Richard is, basically. So it wasn't kind of like a performance from another film or like another actor's performance and everything. So it was kind of like I wanted to do like my own research and my own preparation in sort of like making Richard come to life, like completely off the page.
Right. Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah. Um, so then going off of, the film being about ghost hunters, have you ever had any paranormal experiences for yourself?
Um, unfortunately, I haven't. Sorry.
Oh, no
Yeah,
worries, no
I
worries.
know. Like, I know. Like that's probably gonna like burst a couple of bubbles. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing though. Like, I haven't. I've never actually experienced like any paranormal activity before in my life.
oh
Um,
wow.
and I think like I, and people can say that like I'm a little bit of a coward, but like at the same time I'm a little bit scared to do that. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I get that for sure. Yeah. Um,
yeah. I mean, like when we
yeah.
were filming the Revis when we were filming the Revis v Abbey scene, because like we obviously I checked the website Revis v Abbey, like, you know, sort of like there's like some paranormal activity that goes there. And even though I was excited to shoot the scenes at Revisby Abbey, you know, even during nighttime and everything, there was a part of me where I'm like, look, where because I had like my phone and I was like, I was being Richard, and I was like looking around like in like that's the thing though, like I'm Richard, but in like in there's a part of my mind where it's like thinking, oh god, is there like an actual ghost that's gonna pop up or somewhere?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
just like that genuine reaction, like, oh my god, there is a ghost right there.
yeah. Um, I would be terrified in that situation. To be fair, yeah. Um, what are some of your favorite memories of being on set?
Oh my god, like it was just I mean, just everyone was just, you know, so supportive and just so nice and everything. Like I think
Hmm.
like just like the atmosphere, um and sort of like what everyone bought, you know, sort of like took the characters and made it their own and everything. It was just like really, really unique. It was quite interesting. Like even like I try not to vote. I mean, I even though I had like my own preparation for Richard and everything, I try not to like be so caught up in like Richard's world too much, and sort of like, you know, just pay attention to what everyone else is doing and everything, and especially like what you know, what the cast is listening and listening to what they're saying and doing and everything. And it was just it was just incredible, like watching them work, like, you know, what they brought to the table as, you know, the people or the characters that were being. It was just such a positive and quite fun atmosphere to be a part of and everything. And I think, you know, just I owe it to Stephen and Natasha for making that atmosphere like just a really enjoyable one. Like the experience was just it was just incredible. Like I've never done like a film like this before. Um
Hmm.
and so yeah, just to be part of that process, to be a part of that experience, it was it was definitely welcoming. It was extraordinary.
That's awesome. Yeah. Um, so I've never, been on set with this kind of stuff, but hearing these kind of stories always, just fascinates me, wants me to wants to get want to get myself, on set at some point in
Mm.
life. It's just very, inspirational, nice stuff to hear about on set. So yeah, gotta love hearing a nice story about, the set. But
Yeah.
um yeah, so then final question for you that I have, what are some of your favorite films?
Oh, one of my favorite films. So I would have to say, like, I mean, I've watched like a lot of, as a film buff, like I've watched like a lot of great films and everything. And I'd have to say my favorite film of all time, and I'm really sorry, it's not a horror one, unfortunately.
Oh, no
Sorry.
worries, no worries.
I mean, I do have a couple of like favorite horrors, like
Mhm.
Silence of the Lambs, Hereditary, and the more recent one, The Substance, with Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and
Oh,
Dennis Quaid. I mean, I
yes.
enjoyed that one. But my favorite film of all time would have to be The Departed, a Martin
Yes.
Scorsese film. Came out, yeah, it came out in 2006. So yeah, like a long, long time ago. But I mean that film, I mean, is always like one of my favorites. I could go back and watch that film so many times and everything, and it would never fail to impress me. Like it's just so beautiful. It's a film adaptation of the Hong Kong film Internal Affairs and
Mhm.
everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's got my favorite actor, Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin. Like all these big names and everything. It was just like a star-studded cast and everything, and it's just like there's like a lot of like building of tension and like a lot of sort of like anxiety and high stakes, sort of like what's at risk here and everything. And that's kind of like what I really like in like, especially like those dramatic and like really intense films. It's just the pacing and everything. And The Departed, it really hits on all those cylinders.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that one. Yeah, I adore that movie too. Um, yeah, so I love that pick, of course. So anything else before we wrap up here? Where can we find you? Like, what's your next film? Um, all that sort of stuff. And when can we watch Viral Haunt over here in the US?
I do have I mean, I've got a Twitter, a Facebook page, as well as an Instagram. My Instagram is at official Jack Hyde. My Facebook, I think it's real Jack Hyde. I can't remember. And I think like my Twitter one is Jack Hyde actor. And yeah, like I'm actually acting in like this feature thriller film, which is going to be produced like sort of like around the end of this month and everything. We actually started shooting it last year, sort of like around late November and everything, but sort of like the production had to be like pushed back a little bit because one of the crew members was going through like, had some like other things to go things going on in his life and everything. So like it got pushed back. But yeah, like I'm really looking forward to it. It's called Bitter Revenge. And
Bitter Revenge. Okay.
yeah, and I can't much like Viral Horn, I'm sort of like a main supporting role. And basically I'm sort of like this guy who's like a record producer slash unhinged psychopath. and and yeah, so like I'm producing now. I'm actually waiting on like quite a lot of like castings and everything. So yeah, like hence the self-tape backdrop in my background.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I have been using that like um ever since last year before Christmas. So it's just
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, like it's just been like filming self-tapes non-stop. So just fingers crossed for just fingers crossed. And yeah, as for Viral Haunt, sort of like the release date, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure like when exactly it's going to be released, especially in the US. Um,
Okay.
I think yeah, I think it I think Natasha and Steven, they might have the answer for that one, you know, just sort of like the release date and everything. But as for me,
Hmm.
you know, they did Natasha did say to me like, "Oh yeah, Jack, you know, we'll have like a don't worry, we'll have like a premiere, like a screening for you guys to come watch it and everything." So I'm still waiting to hear on the date. So like right now they're still I think they're still in post production and everything. So yeah, just have to wait back and hear what the release dates are, especially for the US. So
Alrighty, awesome. So we'll definitely keep a lookout over here for Viral Haunt. But thank you so much for joining, as always, man. Um, and yeah, it's a pleasure having you on here.
thanks, Mike.
All right, and yeah, go follow Jack on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter if you guys want to be in the know of when Viral Haunt is coming near you guys. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Right.